Some of you didn't grow up in the church. I grew up going to church every single week, and I remember singing hymns. You remember singing hymns back in the day, if you're from that background? And I love old hymns. I still love them to this day. There's this song that sticks in my mind, and especially with our current conversation about blessing. I was thinking about it this week, and it's a song called Come Ye Sinners. Come Ye Sinners. And it kind of sounds like a pirate statement, come ye sinners, right? But the statement in the song that sticks out to me is this, is it says, come ye sinners, weak and wounded from the fall. If you tarry until you're better, you will never come at all. And I felt like that was a really important statement to consider this weekend as we're talking about being blessed and talking about what it means to come to God on an empty bank account, that we're actually spiritually broke as people, but God wants to bless us and give us everything that we need. And I love that line. If we wait until we're better, if we just kind of stand at a distance from God and say, God, when I'm ready for you, when I get my life and act together, then I'll come to you. But until then, I'm just going to stand here. And the point of the song is, you're never going to come to Jesus with that perspective. That you'll never be ready, you'll never be prepared. And I don't know for you if you've ever been in a season of life where you knew, I just need to take the leap. I just need to make the jump. It's going to be difficult, it's going to be scary, I'm never going to feel ready, but I just need to do it. For me, it was when we chose to have kids. I was never going to be ready for having kids. And so Amanda and I had this conversation where she was getting more prepared for it. I wasn't really prepared to have children. And I just, a lot of resistance from me on this. And then I got to the point where I realized, you know what? I'm never going to be ready to be a dad. I'm never going to be the man that I think I need to be to raise children. I'm always going to feel like I'm going to screw this up. And you know, the reality is, I do. I mess it up all the time. But I trust in God's grace that as I step forward in faithfulness, that He is enough for my weakness. In fact, Paul, who wrote most of the New Testament, famously says that he is actually the worst of sinners. As he writes to Timothy, this young apprentice of his, he lets Timothy know, just so you know, God saves the worst of sinners. And he says, you know who the worst sinner is? Me. I'm the worst of sinners. And I love that as he apprentices this young believer, that Paul models humility. He models what it means to have an honest perspective on himself. And he's like, hey, Timothy, I know that you feel insecure because you're leading and serving God's people in a way that you feel completely unqualified to do. And here's the secret. I feel unqualified too. And so for you today, if you feel unqualified for whatever it is that God is calling you to do, I want you to take that jump and trust that He's enough. And more than anything, if you feel unqualified to stand before a holy God, know that here's the truth. You are. But God's grace is enough, and He's ready to receive you today.